Hello, my name's Brian Ruddle. In previous videos, we've talked about this concept of innovation system maturity, and we look at 5 key areas when we start looking at innovation systems, and I suppose how they're progressing from when you first set them up to when you're actually driving outcomes from them. And those 5 areas are leadership and governance, idea identification, idea curation, stakeholder engagement, and outcomes. In this particular video, I'd like to talk a little bit more about stakeholder engagement, and in particular, I suppose some of the key traps that we see occurring within organisations, and some ideas about how you can actually improve this aspect of your innovation system. The first is sort of, who are the stakeholders? Now, this might seem like a no-brainer, but when we sit down with innovation teams or senior managers within an organisation and we start talking about the stakeholders, often it's not very clearly defined. Staff come to mind straight away, but then it's also about suppliers and customers. It could be research organisations. The stakeholder list can actually be quite large. And then it's all about, well, how do you go about engaging with each of those different types of stakeholders? And you might engage with those stakeholders at different times of the innovation process as well. Similarly, what are their roles? So you can have different stakeholders with a whole range of different roles, from senior management all the way through to administrative staff, technical staff, marketing staff. But then similarly with external stakeholders, they can also have multiple roles in your innovation system. The third thing is, do they know those roles? So it's pretty hard to actually get engagement. And a lot of people talk about culture, but we talk more about engagement, because while culture is important, it's really about how those individuals engage with the system and add value to what the organisation is trying to achieve. And so, do they know their roles? Can they clearly articulate what those roles are? And in mature innovation systems, you can talk to anyone in the organisation and they will be able to tell you this. Another area to see is, well, how often do they practice? It's like anything. When you're starting out with something new, you're learning, you're finding your way. The only way to get good at something is to continually practice it. And so with stakeholders, if they're not practicing how they work within your innovation program, how they add value to what you're trying to achieve when it comes to innovation, you can't expect them to become proficient. So this is another concept we work a lot with our clients, is sort of how you can set up systems and approaches so that you can help them practice, you can get them involved, so it's not just once or twice, but it becomes over time part of what the organisation is actually about. And then, how do stakeholders define success? So when stakeholders are involved, they need to understand how they're contributing to success of the innovation program. And that's really critical, because that then builds self-worth, helps them to get involved and encourages them to get involved in the program. And so when we're assessing how to improve stakeholder engagement in an organisation, there's many, many more aspects that we look at. But these are some of the key ones that we constantly come across. If you'd like to talk to the Impact Innovation Group and understand more about how we help organisations achieve better stakeholder engagement, please contact us.